I'm Angel Parker, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Tyler Ritter, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Noel Fisher. Let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Nora Jane Noon, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Simon Hellberg, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Kelly Thibault, and let's talk about HD.
Hey, I'm Brianna Lane, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Kate Miner, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Dustin Braley, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Tricia LaFoch, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Mariana Palka, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Nancy Ritter, and let's talk about HD.
Hello, I'm Jason Ritter, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Seth Green, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Angelique Cabral, and let's talk about HD.
Hi, I'm Meredith Patterson, and let's talk about HD.
What's up, everybody? This is Scott Porter, and let's talk about HD. It affects hundreds of thousands of Americans, including my own family. It is ripping through families across this country. And as of right now, there is no cure, but there is hope. You see the saying on my shirt, family is everything. We have a family at HDSA and across this nation trying to find a cure and to support those who are battling HD, and we're asking you to join in with us. Go to hdsa.org if you have questions, if you want to jump in, if you want to donate, if you want to help us in any way. Family is everything, and please spread the word. Let's talk about HD.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm going to steal from Louise. We can do better than that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 39th Annual HDSA Convention. As already spoken, I am Teresa Srajer. I am an HD family member, and I am the chair of the Huntington Society of America Board of Trustees. And it is my honor to welcome you to Spokane. Again, welcome. We have a fantastic HDSA convention program for you this year. As you would expect, the next few days are jam-packed. And while everything in your program and our event app, and while everything is in your program, the little paper version that was in your bag, and in our event app, I do want to highlight a few key things. First, I want to thank Teva, Neuroquin Biosciences, Unicure, Wave Life Sciences, Annexon, and Avrock Biosciences for sponsoring both a national and local scholarship program that has brought 91 people from 16 states to Washington for this life-changing event. Each of the national sponsorship recipients is attending their first convention because of this important fund. If this is your first HDSA convention, please stand so that we may acknowledge you. Welcome to all of you with first-time attendees. We are so happy you are here. I also want to recognize the HDSA National Youth Alliance, also known affectionately as the NYA. For their fundraising efforts, which supported 58 youth and young adults so they could attend this convention. Thank you for that round of applause for the NYA and all the scholarship recipients. While I am recognizing the NYA and their scholarship program, let me remind you to join them tomorrow night for their annual talent show beginning at 5:30 p.m. It's a don't miss opportunity. Please be there. It's super fun. All the proceeds from the talent show and any funds donated at convention directly support NYA scholarships for next year's HDSA convention. So please be generous in your support of these amazing young people. Next, I'd also like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, which made this HDSA convention and all the activities that go with it possible. We have a long list of sponsors this year, which is awesome. So please hold your applause until the end and then be really loud to thank them. Our thanks to our presenting sponsor, Teva, our gold sponsors, Genentech, Neuroquin Biosciences, Sage Therapeutics, and Unicure. Our gold nonprofit sponsors, CHDI and Enroll HD. Bronze sponsors, Annexon Biosciences, Mass Mutual Special Care, Prelenia, PTC Therapeutics, Vico Therapeutics, and Wave Life Sciences. And our friends at AskBio, Rhoda Seating, Spark Therapeutics, and Stewart Disability Law Firm. Now let's let them know how much we appreciate all their support. We are pleased to once again be using our customized Socio app to put the convention program in the palm of your hand. If you haven't done it already, simply go to your device's app store, type in HDSA Convention, and download it to your device or computer. While we still have a printed summary that I've alluded to of the program available for you to reference, the app is the most comprehensive resource with full descriptions, speaker bios, and information about special activities. In the app, you can connect with convention attendees, share your photos and messages on the convention wall, and look in the announcements section for any real-time changes that might be taking place with meeting rooms or exciting new developments. And there could be changes with some travel plans people have had. So I heard Denver was a little bit of an issue for many in this room. Finally, the app has one really cool feature that I must highlight, the HDSA Convention Challenge. So if you're a first-time attendee, thank you, nice segue. All right, so we have 2 codes right now. So if you didn't get one when you got your t-shirt when you checked in for the team home walk, it's THW123. And then for being here in this room for our opening ceremonies, it's the opener, one word. So why people want these codes if you aren't familiar? We unveiled this game a few years ago and it was a huge success with hundreds of family members scouring sessions to collect points. As you heard, what's the code? Anyone who collects 6,000 points or more will be entered into a raffle to win 2 free registrations to next year's convention. So once again, THW123 and the opener. So now you've got 2 codes already in your app for the game. All right, you're here because you know that the annual HDSA Convention is a very special event. An educational program, support group, and family reunion all rolled into one. Each year we bring together an all-star lineup of heroes in the HD community for 2 days of learning and sharing so that all of us are strengthened by new information, insights, and connections that we can use again in our fight against Huntington's disease. Undoubtedly, it's going to be hard to choose which sessions to attend. We have up to 8 sessions running concurrently, starting tomorrow morning and running straight through until our annual awards gala. But the good news is that we're recording and live streaming sessions throughout which will be available on HDSA's YouTube channel in a few short weeks. In addition to the educational tracks, our program includes a wide variety of special activities. Throughout convention, our activity center will be open for people with HD to have fun and try new skills. Be sure to come to tomorrow's Volunteer Appreciation Luncheon to celebrate HDSA's chapter and affiliates and find out who wins Affiliate and Chapter of the Year. Take advantage of the many support groups that are being held throughout this weekend to offer support and camaraderie. Take time when you need to have self-care as you go through the day. On Saturday evening, get ready to help us recognize leaders across the HD community at our annual National Awards Gala. The reception begins before the gala at 6 p.m. and then Saturday, where we can enjoy drinks and hors d'oeuvres and a little fellowship before dinner gets underway. For those of you who are attending your first convention, you won't want to miss our candlelighting ceremony. It's super special. We know that HDSA services powerful emotions. Please know that you are supported by an amazing team of HDSA social workers, clinical advisors, volunteer leaders, and staff who are here to help you on your HD journey. If you need anything, please reach out to any one of them, and we will get you what you need. On Saturday morning, come for breakfast and stay for our highly anticipated research forum where you'll learn about a hot new topic in HD and get an update on drug development from our HD Buzz team. As you all know, for new and effective therapies to be developed for Huntington's disease, family participation in clinical research is essential. Join us at noon tomorrow when HDSA will once again be noon Saturday. So it's tomorrow. For me, sorry. Join us at noon Saturday when HDSA will once again be hosting a clinical trials luncheon, which will provide an update on clinical trials that are currently recruiting. Currently recruiting, keyword. If you want to get involved in helping new therapies for HD to be developed, and who doesn't want that, of all of us in this room with family that we care deeply about, this session will tell you how and feature the science that's going on now. So come, grab a sandwich, and learn how you can be a part of the search to treat HD. Also on Saturday, you will have the opportunity to meet your National Board of Trustees during our annual Meet the Board session. Come out and meet us. We'd like to meet you and take questions from you. Just like the HDSC chapters and affiliates, every member of the National Board is a volunteer who donates their time and skill to shepherd the mission of HDSA and ensure that we are improving the lives of everyone with HD and their families. If you are a member of an HDSA board, either with an affiliate, a chapter, or as a national trustee, please stand so that we may recognize you. You, all of you that stood, are the leadership of this amazing organization. You set the vision and accomplish the mission and make possible all the help and hope that is HDSA. Thank you for all that you do. At HDSA, our mission is to improve the lives of everyone affected by HD. That means we are laser focused on advocating for and caring for families. Families who depend on the help that HDSA provides and the hope that we all share. It means ensuring that families receive the best care until science helps us cure HD, because we know that family is everything. Our vision for a world free of HD will be made possible by our shared strength and commitment to, in the words of our founder, Marjorie Guthrie, do something every day to fight HD. Thank you for being here and for being a part of this HDSA family. To talk more about HDSA's mission and vision work, it's my pleasure to introduce our President and CEO, Louise Vetter. Have a great convention, everyone.
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? I heard a wonderful. I love that. Welcome to Spokane, and welcome to the 39th Annual HDSA Convention. I am so glad that you made the trek to this wonderful city of Spokane. It is our first time ever hosting a convention this far north and west in the United States, and we did it so that we could be closer to more families from the Pacific Northwest. And so many of you are represented in this room. It is wonderful to see you. Did you know, this is my fun fact for the day, that the state song of Washington is Woody Guthrie's Roll on Columbia for the Great Columbia River? I'm full of useless information, people. HDSA's legacy is intertwined with the heritage of this state. And our HDSA Washington chapter is a vibrant group of dedicated volunteers who go above and beyond to support one another and HD families everywhere. If you are part of the HDSA Washington State chapter, can you stand for a moment so we can celebrate you? I speak from experience when I say that the HDSA Convention is the most special of special events. This is my 16th HDSA Convention. When I joined the HDSA team in 2009, we were just weeks away from the 23rd Annual Convention in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, I had been to conventions before, large meetings with people at round tables listening politely to speakers and then filing back to their hotel rooms at the end of the day. I'd been to conferences with lots of different names who all claimed that they were unique, when in reality, they all followed a similar agenda and were cut from the same cloth of predictability. So when my new HDSA team tried to prepare me for what one of the HDSA conventions was like, I politely yesed them. Sure. I was wrong. In every way, the HDSA convention is special. There is no meeting on the planet like what we host each year, because there is no larger gathering of HD families on this earth. And HD families are that special ingredient that turns a convention into a support group, a party, an educational event, a scientific symposium, and a family reunion all rolled into one. In 2009, I was just beginning my journey at HDSA, and I was getting to know this amazing community. If you can imagine, back then we were talking about the neuroprotective properties of blueberries. And we were pinning our hopes for a cure for HD on a nutritional supplement called creatine. The first drug for HD chorea had just been approved by the US Food and Drug Administration, but fewer than 12 companies, I checked, were actually doing any real research into Huntington's disease at the time, and their focus was squarely on symptoms. Slowing and stopping HD was still just science fiction. Most families and many doctors still thought of HD as having an on-off switch, where you went from being totally healthy to having symptoms, almost overnight. Now, we really understand HD as a progressive disease, whose symptoms manifest over a long period of time. HDSA was smaller then too. The organization could barely afford to support 20 HDSA centers of excellence, 1 research program, and 40 social workers who supported as many families affected by HD as they could with their limited resources. Fewer than 30 Team Hope walks were held by HDSA chapters and affiliates, and the HDSA website featured lots of gray and blue photos of scientists. Really. See, in 2009, the HDSA story was focused on the label of HD as a rare neurodegenerative disease. That's not wrong, but HD is so much more. But that's what I had studied as I took my new job, and in my first few months at HDSA, I met families struggling against the bleakness of this label. But it wasn't until I stepped off the elevator at that Phoenix HDSA convention in 2009 that I realized how profoundly wrong all of those descriptions were. Surrounded by hundreds of smiling faces who were hungry for information and support and generous with their hugs, I learned quickly that HDSA conventions are miraculous things, and that HDSA had a new family-focused story to tell. Miraculous. You guys might think that word's a bit of an overstretch, but I know from experience that HDSA conventions change lives. The information and community of this event brings light into dark spaces. Friendships, mentorships, and even marriages, I kid you not, have been born from relationships born at the HDSA convention. "16 years later, I'm standing at this similar podium to kick off this event for what will be my last time. Most of you know this, so this should not be a surprise, but in July I will be leaving HDSA for a new professional adventure. Where I'm going is not important. What is important is that I share with you the 2 things that I have learned during my time at HDSA, only 2, That's a lie, but these are the two most important things. Two things that I hope you can hold in your heart through this convention and moving forward on your HD journey. The first is that there has never been a more optimistic time for HD families. I know a lot of people say this, you're going to hear it over the next few days, but I want to give you evidence because HDSA is a science-driven organization. Blueberries and creatine, thankfully, have been replaced with terms like small molecules, ASOs, zinc fingers, and CRISPR-Cas9. Real innovative science being specifically designed and tailored for Huntington's disease is being created in labs. We're talking about symptom management and disease-modifying therapies. It's not an either-or, and it's not science fiction. And more than 50 pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies are working on everything from aggression and cognition to gene therapy and, yes, gene editing in Huntington's disease. HDSA's Center of Excellence Network has more than tripled with more than 67 expert multidisciplinary care clinics in 35 states and Washington, D.C. And now we have, this is my favorite number, 113 HD specialized social workers supporting HD families. We've gone from one really important research program to 3 vibrant grant and fellowship projects bringing the next generation of scientists and their innovative ideas, we want their brains, into this space. With the Donald King Fellowship, the Berman Topper Career Development Fellowships, and the HD Human Biology grants, we are building the careers for the future of HD science. Today, HD families have resources that could not have been imagined 15 years ago. Disability specialists, free online telecounseling, webinars, science blogs, podcasts, and a vibrant youth and young adult community that is so much more than one day at convention. I am optimistic because 15 years ago, there wasn't a global observational study called Enroll HD in which 30,000 HD family members contribute to the biological understanding of HD so that doctors and drug companies have new information and new tools to fight this disease. I am optimistic because the US FDA, which is the agency in the US that actually decides what medicines are available for people, is really listening to the HD community. On November 13th of this year, you can put it on your calendar, leadership of the US Food and Drug Administration will join HDSA and the entire HD community for a special meeting to hear firsthand from families what they need to know and how we can redefine what wellness in HD looks like. The FDA has met with the HD community before. 9 years ago, they hosted their own patient-focused drug development meeting, which is a huge meeting. And they've had listening sessions since then with the juvenile onset HD community and with the pre-symptomatic and young adult members of our community. But this is the first time they have ever agreed to participate in a second patient-focused drug development meeting with a patient community. HD is important enough to them. Science is evolving fast enough that they want to meet with us again. And that is huge and that is powerful. We're talking with congressional leadership about an infusion of research funding from the Department of Defense. And we're working closely with the National Institutes of Health and the Critical Path Institute to make sure that HD gets the appropriate focus and attention. We will not be overshadowed by other diseases who have famous friends. HD families deserve the same focus on innovation and access to curative science as every other disease out there. And our passionate HD advocates are making sure that elected officials know this and care about HD. Yes, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic because today HDSA is a purposeful, mission-driven organization. Our mission is to improve the lives of everyone impacted by Huntington's disease. In 2009, HDSA's mission strategy was hope. Now, hope is a beautiful word. It's a powerful word. It's one of my favorite words. Hope is inspiring and it keeps us focused. But hope is not an accomplishment. If we want to create a world free of Huntington's disease, we need more than hope. We need clinical care and science and education and advocacy, all things that HDSA can do and is doing. And we need a plan. Today, HDSA is on its third strategic plan. Every 5 years, it gets refreshed and renewed by the HDSA Board of Trustees to make sure that the organization is keeping pace with the needs of the community, being flexible, and challenging ourselves to do more. With specific goals and objectives and a clear focus on care, cure, and community, we are planning for a world where HD defies its current definition. HDSA is planning for treatments that feel like cures and for lives where improved care and quality of life is accessible to all HD families. That's what we're all about. I am optimistic because I have confidence in the knowledge, the science, and the people at HDSA. I have never been more optimistic. So that's one thing that I know. The second thing, it's a little harder, but just as true. The only way that we get those transformative therapies for HD is if you participate in science. It's the only way. You cannot wait for others to make it happen. You have to get involved. Today, I'm stealing a line from a friend in the front row. Today is literally the best day for you to participate in HD science. Of that, I am very certain. For some of you, that might sound bold. I apologize if it's off-putting. It might be terrifying, but hear me out. There are lots of ways to get involved in HD science that are really easy, I promise you. And I know that participation in HD research is the most important thing if we really want that cure. It could be participating in an online survey or going to your local HD clinic to get enrolled in Enroll HD, which I mentioned earlier. Both can be found at hdtrialfinder.org, which is HDSA's up-to-date, community-friendly website. Community-friendly means that it's not all science-y, right? That it actually makes sense. At hdtrialfinder.org, you'll find information about all of the currently recruiting trials in HD. Check it out. Getting involved in science might also mean looking at local drug trials. Here's the thing with drug trials that people don't know. I'm letting you in on a business secret. No one talks about it, but it's real, and I think you deserve to know. If the clinical trials that companies plan to study HD drugs have a hard time finding patients to participate, it affects how all companies look at whether or not to develop HD drugs. Think about that. If company A plans a trial for a drug that could be awesome and potentially slow HD, and they have a hard time finding participants, other companies may be concerned about whether or not they'll be able to recruit for trials that they might be planning. It doesn't matter how different or similar that drug might be. Companies B, C, and D are all watching company A. It takes a lot of money to test new medicines. And the longer a trial takes to run, the more money it costs. And maybe, just maybe, Company B, who's watching Company A, thinks that the lack of enrollment in a trial is a sign that the HD community won't want their new therapy if they develop it. That would be a huge waste of time and money, and they stop developing their drug. That would be a tragedy of epic proportions. HD families need clinical trials to recruit quickly because drug companies make decisions based on money, not people. Even the most compassionate companies, and I will say those companies are partners with HDSA, and we are so grateful for their partnership. They are exceptional, but they have bosses who are wondering whether or not the money that they're spending to develop cures for HD are worth it. It's a hard truth. Yes, they want to help HD families, but for their bosses, the decision makers watching the stock price, it has to make good business sense. Slow trials strain that. Every delay in a trial decreases the certainty of future programs. I told you it was a hard truth, but it's one I feel like you need to hear. Looking at it a different way, and maybe a more mission-friendly way, HD families need trials to recruit quickly because we need answers quickly. We do not have time to waste. If something fails, fine. Let's learn from it and move on. If something works, awesome. What's next? I often get asked about clinical trials and different drugs in development, and people will ask me, hey, Louise, which trials should we join? And they'll want to wait for a new drug that they've read about or a Google alert has told them to get excited about. And I'm here to tell you that the right trial to join is the one you are eligible for now. Because if you wait, you may not be eligible for the one you're holding out for. Don't be upset about that. Criteria for trials is not personal. I know that's really hard because we're all humans, and it is as personal as it gets. But researchers need to get very specific data based on a very certain set of parameters that rarely matches what we want. But we still need that trial to recruit quickly, so spread the word, and then look for the next trial that you might qualify for. I've spent 15 years telling drug companies and scientists that HD families need new therapies, and that we will help them make that happen by participating in the trials that they plan. Now I'm asking you, get involved. I know it's hard. I know that being in a trial is scary. It takes time. It's almost never convenient, and it's always overwhelming. But I also know it's the bravest, most meaningful thing you can do for yourself and those you love. Anyone who was betting on how long it was going to take me to cry, there you go, you won. If I've motivated you just a little bit, I encourage you to get involved in HD Science this weekend by participating in two things that are actually right here at the Davenport Grand. First, get involved in the HD research study, HDRAC 24. It's not a friendly name, I didn't make it up, but it's taking place right here in meeting rooms 4, 5, and 6. Hosted by our friends at CHDI, they have 5 short research opportunities for persons with HD, their family members, and caregivers to get involved in. You can do one, you can do all, some are short, some are a little longer, they're mix and match, but you can get involved today, tomorrow, and Saturday to help them build important knowledge about HD. It's here, it's convenient, I'm telling you, it's important. And you can reserve a time slot by scanning the QR code that was in all of your bags, or just stop by. This is our 3rd year hosting on-site research with CHDI at convention. Last year, 214 people. That's amazing. That's an entire clinical trial. 214 people participated in the TAP-HD study, and they got important science. The CHDI team was overwhelmed by the numbers, and it was awesome. This year, they're prepared for 300 people to participate. There will be 700 people here over the next few days, so let's overwhelm them with your enthusiasm. I mentioned that there were 2 ways to actually participate in HD research while at convention, and the second one applies to all of you who are watching from home as well. Last year at the HDSA Convention in New Orleans, we announced a new partnership with a nonprofit called Global Genes to add to their Rare X online natural history study, Huntington's disease. We called it the HD Data Collection Initiative, and we've spent the last year working behind the scenes to build the HD capacity for their program with HD-specific tools and make it a place where anyone from an HD family can participate. And you can even have a partner, a research partner they call it, who can enter data right along with you. So sort of simultaneously being able to understand what's going on maybe with you if you have HD, but then also an observer sharing information about what they see as being challenges. Most importantly, we've been collaborating with Help for HD, HD Reach, HD Cares, the Hereditary Disease Foundation, and HDYO to do it together, and with a new, and dare I say better, name. Are you ready for it? The HD Data Collection Initiative is now Power HD. I've got my cheering club down here, and I'm loving every minute of it. So Zachary and Xavier, thank you. The HD Data Collection Initiative, which is now Power HD, is the HD community natural history study because the information that it collects is by you and for you. And you are always in control of the data. You have the power because there is power in numbers, and by participating, you can power, see what I did there? The cure for HD. HD drug development is quickened when there is data from families that shows the natural course of the disease. In some diseases, natural history has actually started to replace placebo arms in drug trials. So it means that the trials can run more quickly. Faster answers from drug trials in HD? Sign me up. Visit the RareX booth, which is immediately across from convention. It's right behind that wall. And our amazing partners and HDSA staff will help answer your questions and show you how to sign up. It's really easy. You can visit hdsa.org and click on the logo, or throughout tomorrow and Saturday, there will be a little QR code in the middle of every table. Okay, I'm running long. We all knew it was going to happen. Maybe my 2 things are really just one thing. I'm optimistic that we are close to profound progress in caring for and curing HD because I am confident that you are all committed to powering the science. I believe in you. We need you. The HD community is strong beyond measure, and HDSA will always be there to support you, connect you to care, and ensure that disease-modifying therapies are one day soon accessible for all. Thinking back to that 2009 convention, this may shock you, I was not a hugger. 15 years and literally thousands of hugs later, I treasure everyone. 15 years of hellos and too many goodbyes. It's true, I was a newcomer to the HD family when I joined. But in that first month, I was greeted with such warmth and community and hope. Families that met me at the airport and opened their homes so that I could learn firsthand about HD. The most compassionate and brilliant scientists you can find on this planet. I will never forget Marcy McDonald, who's a pretty well-renowned HD scientist. I was at a science conference in France that year, and she was getting to know me, and she literally copped a squat in the hallway of the hotel and taught me HD genetics. I met people who touched my heart and taught my soul what gratitude and grace looks like. Jody, Dale, Allison, too many friends lost. And so many more people that I worry about every day. You know who you are. I don't come from an HD family, but like so many other amazing HDSA volunteers who are the heart and soul of HDSA, I have thousands of reasons to support this mission. So while I won't be with you at the 40th anniversary convention, I will always be a part of this family. HDSA has always been about you, the families we serve, your needs, your care, your hope. You have been the inspiration that turned HDSA into the vibrant, caring, science-focused community that I am so proud to be a part of. It has been an honor to serve you. I am optimistic about the future of HD because of you. At HDSA, we have a saying, family is everything. We don't fight Huntington's disease just for ourselves. We fight because of the family, by blood and by bond that we love, the parents we've lost, and the children we must protect. The names and faces might have changed, but this convention, much like my first in 2009, has that same breathtaking power. That special quality that only HD families can bring to turn a convention into a caravan of hope. A common place that we can call home for the friends and the hugs that fill these halls. Convention is not just a gathering, it's way more than a meeting. It is an event that informs us and comforts us. It supports us and it fuels us. It helps us stay brave. Thank you for everything that you do to meet the challenges of HD and to embrace the achievement of our shared mission to improve the lives of everyone affected by HD and their families. Thank you for being a part of this 39th Annual HDSA Convention, for the courage and strength that you share and have shared so generously, and for the love and support that as a family you bring to HDSA. Thank you, everyone. We are so late, people, so late. But it is my pleasure to now welcome to the stage a pioneer in HD care and a dear friend and volunteer of HDSA. Dr. Tom Bird is an emeritus professor of neurology and medical genetics at the University of Washington. He's a clinician, a researcher, and he's former director of the HDSA Center of Excellence at UW, where he started the Brain Bank 50 years ago. If it's possible to fail at retirement, Tom has. He's the hardest working retiree I know, because in addition to everything I've mentioned, which he still does, he is a fervent champion of the need to rethink how HD is diagnosed. Hint, it's not all about Korea. To share some reflections on his career caring for HD families, I'm pleased to welcome Tom to the stage.
Wow, tough act to follow. I won't be successful at that. But welcome to Spokane. Spokane, you know, is the capital of the Inland Empire. Also, welcome to the state of Washington. State of Washington is the empire. Some Washington fans. I've been given my marching orders by Louise. She told me to be informal, to be clinical, and to not talk for very long. I'm going to add one more to that. I'm going to be personal. What I'd like to do for a few minutes is to explain to you my journey with Huntington's disease, what happened to me and how I got involved with this disease. I have to reflect on it, think about it. I'd like to share some of that with you and also be able to step back and give you some perspective that I have of the disease that I've been watching for so many years. I can tell you exactly how it began. It began over on the other side of the Cascade Mountains in Seattle. I was a first-year neurology resident at the University of Washington. I was at the VA hospital in Seattle, and I saw a man with Huntington's disease. He was the first patient with Huntington's disease I'd ever seen. He had chorea. I'd never seen chorea before, face to face, and it was quite remarkable, and I never forgot him. But I moved on. I did other things. I actually had 2 years in the Navy during the Vietnam era. I was stationed with the Marine Corps. I then came back to the University of Washington and completed my neurology residency. I became very interested in genetics, and so I started a genetic clinic for adults with neurogenetic diseases at the University of Washington. That was in 1974. You can do the math. That was 50 years ago. That first patient I had seen was 1969, so a long time ago. I was very interested in genetic diseases of the brain. It turns out that the most common disease we saw in the adult neurogenetics clinic at the UW was Huntington's disease. There must be many reasons for that, but in fact it was the most common disease we saw. In fact, I eventually saw more than 1,000 people with Huntington's disease. So if you hear that Huntington's disease is a rare disease, that's wrong. It's not a rare disease. A single physician can't see 1,000 people with it and have it be a rare disease. It's uncommon, yes, it's uncommon, but it's not rare. And then I began to realize that two things had happened to me. One was I'd been reading the history of Huntington's disease, and I realized that I personally was channeling George Huntington. George Huntington described this disease because he had seen a family with it. He had seen multiple generations of the disease. And as I was doing my clinic, I saw a man with Huntington's who turned out to be the son of the man that I had seen at the VA hospital years before. And then a few years after that, I saw the children of that man with juvenile Huntington's disease. So I'd seen 3 generations of Huntington's disease, and that's what had happened to George Huntington. I thought to myself, that's interesting. That's a historical connection. And then I realized that when I had started medical school, I started with the intention of being a family doctor. And then I found neurologic disease. I decided I wanted to be a neurologist. And then I found genetic diseases, and I decided I wanted to be a neurogeneticist. And Huntington's disease made me realize I could be all 3 of those things. I could be a family doctor, I could be a neurologist, and I could be a medical geneticist. And so that brought me in close connection with Huntington's disease. Let me just mention a couple other people I saw in that 1,000 or so patients that really brought home the disease to me. I saw a 7-year-old girl who began to stumble and have problems in the playground at her school, and it eventually turned out that she had juvenile Huntington's disease. Her mother had died, her family was dysfunctional, she was having a very difficult time. And then she found her guardian angel. Her guardian angel was her school teacher. Her school teacher realized what she had. She read about and learned about Huntington's disease. She took that little girl under her arm. She taught the class about Huntington's disease. She brought the class and the child together as a unit, thinking and dealing with Huntington's disease. And in fact, the teacher arranged to be the teacher for the child for 3 years in a row. She made a huge difference to that child's life. And it made me realize that a single person, who doesn't even have to be in the family, a single person can make a difference in the life of a person with Huntington's disease. Let me give you another experience I had. I walked into the clinic one day. I was seeing a young woman who had symptomatic Huntington's disease. She had chorea, she had disability, and I said to her my usual opening question, how are you doing? And her response was, great. I wasn't used to getting that kind of response. I said, what do you mean you're doing great? She said, I've learned to do Texas line dancing. I said, oh, really? Good for you. And then she turned the tables on me. She said, Dr. Bird, can you do Texas line dancing? No, I know nothing about Texas line dancing. And she got up and she said, well, I'm going to show you how. She'd brought along a tape with Texas line dancing music on it. She turned the tape on, and within a few minutes she had me, herself, the social worker, the nurse, and the genetics counselor, shoulder to shoulder, arm to arm, going back and forth in the clinic doing Texas line dancing. It was wonderful. It was amazing. It was one of the most enjoyable clinic experiences I'd ever had. And I had learned something more about Huntington's disease. There are people with a disease who, by their personality, by their character, they have a certain resilience that allows them to cope with this disease. They don't let them get them down. They don't let the disease get them down. It's the kind of people you hand them a lemon and they can make lemonade. It's very important to realize that. It's amazing the coping abilities of people with Huntington's and the families with the disease. So what have I learned about this disease? If I go up to the 30,000-foot level and look down on Huntington's disease, what do I see? What have I decided about this disease? Well, 3 things come to mind. One is, I believe Huntington's disease is the most amazing disease in my specialty of neurology. There's no other disease quite like it. The experiences I've had with this disease are just amazing. The movement disorder, the psychiatric problems, the personality problems, the social problems, the medical legal problems, every day is different with this disease. There's no other disease quite like it in neurology. I think it is the most unique brain disease. It's really very special. The second thing about it is that in terms of the biology and the neuroscience, it is really complex. It is not a simple disease. It is very complex. Why are certain nerve cells vulnerable to this disease and others are not? Why are certain regions of the brain vulnerable to this disease and others are not? Why does that long polyglutamate tail on the protein cause havoc within a cell? And why does the havoc it causes within neurons, how does that cause chorea? How does the havoc in those neurons cause psychiatric disease? How does the havoc in those neurons cause a personality change? How does it cause apathy? How does it cause agitation? It's really biologically an amazing disease. And then if you're born with the nerve cells having that havoc in them, how can the disease wait decades before it causes symptoms? And by decades, I mean 40, 50, 60 years before you have symptoms, even though it's been in your brain since conception. I've seen a 5-year-old with Huntington's disease. I've seen a 90-year-old man with Huntington's disease. How can it be the same disease? But it is. And when it starts, it has a trajectory. In some people, it's a very short trajectory from symptoms to death. It can be just 3 or 4 years. In other people, it can be 25 years, 30 years, more than 30 years. How is that possible? It's an amazing disease. It is very complicated, very complex. Those same questions are somewhat similar to other neurodegenerative diseases. Diseases like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, frontotemporal dementia, ALS. They're all neurodegenerative diseases, and Huntington's disease is one of them. Huntington's disease is a model scientifically for things happening in those other diseases. If you can learn more things about Huntington's, you're going to learn more things about those other, even more common neurodegenerative diseases. And when you learn about those other diseases, they will help you learn more about Huntington's disease. So it's a model for neurodegeneration, which I think is very important. It's also a model for something very different. I believe Huntington's disease is a model for the ability of our country to provide health care to the population. I view Huntington's disease as the canary in the mind of our healthcare system. How are we doing caring for mental illness? How are we doing caring for progressive disabilities? How are we doing caring for dementia? How are we doing caring for Huntington's disease? It's the canary in our healthcare mine. The answer, as you know, is we're not doing all that well. We should do better. We can do better. Let me finally mention one more patient that I want to tell you about, and that is a man who wrote me a letter many years ago that I've never forgotten. I've called him Johnny Cooper. Johnny Cooper wrote me a letter when I first was beginning to see patients with Huntington's disease, and Johnny Cooper was an inmate in the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla. Walla Walla is the town 150 miles just south of where we are right now. Walla Walla, the town's so nice, they named it twice. Johnny Cooper was an inmate in that penitentiary, and he wrote me a letter. I'll never forget it. The letter said, "Dear Dr. Bird, can you help me? Can you help me?" He said, "My mother died with Huntington's disease. I'm in this prison. I'm sure I've got symptoms of the disease. I'm getting worse. The inmates here are taking advantage of me and abusing me because of my disease. The prison is not taking good care of me. When I get out, can you help me?" It's a simple question, isn't it? But a very profound question. If you can't cure my disease, can you help me? If you can't prevent my disease, can you help me? If I have a progressive disease and you can't stop the progression of it, can you help me? If your drugs modestly change my symptoms but don't eliminate them and your drugs all have adverse side effects, can you help me? I've never forgotten that question in that very simple letter. A simple question, but a very profound question. And my answer is yes. There are 4 things we can do. The first thing we can do is education. We need to educate the world about Huntington's disease. We need to educate our communities. We need to educate our schools. We need to educate our lawyers. We need to educate our police. We need to educate our legislators. We need to have advocacy. We need to teach people about Huntington's disease. The second thing we can do is do things in our community to help people with Huntington's disease. We need to have support groups. We need to have daycare centers. We need to improve adult family homes. We need to improve nursing homes. We need to improve the care for Huntington's disease in our community. We can have clinics that have experts in Huntington's disease. We need experts who are physicians, nurses, psychologists, therapists, social workers who are specially trained in the treatment of Huntington's disease. And finally, we can support research for the disease so that we can finally come up with better treatments, a prevention, a cure for the disease. Now, if you've been paying attention to what I've been saying, you'll recognize that I've just been describing the mission of the HDSA, right? Education and advocacy, improving things in our community, centers of excellence with experts who know about Huntington's disease, and supporting education. That's what the HDSA does. You all in this room should be very proud that you belong to this organization. I'm proud that I belong to this organization. And I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to share my ideas about this disease and to share some of my experiences. Thank you.
So Tom, come on back up. Come on up. Why did I let him down? I could have blocked the stairs, but... So we couldn't come all the way to the state of Washington and not recognize Tom for his dedication to HD families for so many decades. A token of appreciation.
Thank you.
All right, who's ready to walk? You stretch those limbs. So the HDSA Team Hope Walk is a convention tradition. So in just a few minutes, we're going to open the doors. Please move to the hotel lobby. You're going to go for a short stroll around Riverfront Park. It's going to take you past the big red wagon and into the pavilion. There will be a scavenger hunt. It is going to be fun. But then come back. A little after 7 o'clock, we're going to open the doors for our big welcome reception where there will be lots and lots of food and games. So please come back, hang out with your HDSA family. If you don't want to go on the walk, I still need you out of this room because we got to turn this into a party. So have a great time, everyone. Thank you for being here. Welcome to convention.